Recording. Good evening, everybody. After a couple of weeks of not having a guest, we're honored to have our Tuesday night discussions with special people. And today we have with us a very special guy, Moshe Elberg, as you see on your screen. And he spent Pesach in Laos. He didn't have a lousy Pesach. He spent it in Laos. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you spending some time. And what is a nice Jewish boy doing Pesach in Laos? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do when you're not traveling the world? Give us a little background and then tell us, how did you wind up spending Pesach in Laos?
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Moshe Elberg. I come from Brooklyn, New York, Crown Heights, Chabad Central. And I was lucky enough this year to be able to go to a country called Laos to help the Jewish people that live there and the Jewish travelers that come through Laos to make their Pesach Seder. Now, Rabbi Epstein asked me, how did I get there? Chabad Central, Chabad in New York, every year sends out boys, yeshiva boys, two boys together to different places of the world to either make their own Seder or to help an existing Seder. This year, actually last year, I merited to go to Laos to make the Pesach Seder there. It was very, very successful. And therefore, I was asked this year to go back to Laos with my friend, and we had a fantastic, fantastic Seder, which I can tell you some stories about. I'm happy to take questions all
Well, let's
along.
get started. Give us a little background. Just oh, by the way, just sort of drop that on us. How do you get to choose to go to Laos? Do they assign you? Give us a little bit of the background.
So,
How a nice
background.
Jewish boy from Brooklyn shows up one day and he gets assigned to Laos. How does that work?
So we'll give a little bit of background. This is how it works. Basically, Chabad Central opens up registration around Purim time, and they give the opportunity for boys to gain some experience besides for the fact they're helping other people, obviously, and spreading the light and spreading Judaism and making sure every Jewish person has a beautiful Pesach Seder. We also get to have some experience before we go out and open up our own Chabad centers around the world, and we create our own Chabad institution. So I signed up last year to go with my friend, and they assigned me to go to Laos.
So
Now,
hold on, let
before
me
I
just
got
jump up.
assigned,
Yeah, let me just jump in there. You say you got assigned. Did you have a choice? What was some of the other choices? Any place like Brooklyn, someplace more local, or all
so
of them these sort of exotic spots?
so they send out from Queens in New York to all the way in Laos, China. They send all over the world. I was chosen to go to Laos. I had I didn't even know that the country existed before I
And
was sent there.
how did that decision come? They just deem it comes down from Sinai, thou shalt go to Laos, or did they give you a choice to go to Laos
So
or to go to
obviously,
Oklahoma?
if one they actually choose the system, whoever runs it every year, whoever the Chabad organization hires, that's who gets to choose where you go. You're basically assigned. Obviously, if you have an issue going to that spot, if you don't feel comfortable, you could tell them and they'll reassign you. But
Do you have
usually
any
they choose.
insight as to why they chose you specifically to go specifically to Laos as opposed to China or Queens?
It's all luck,
It's all luck. Okay, luck of the
whatever
draw.
they decide.
So how did you feel when they said Laos? Was that like exciting to you? Were you like, Laos? That's lousy. I don't want to go
That
there.
sounded actually very exciting.
Okay.
I was looking forward to go to a country where I haven't even heard of.
Okay.
Sounded very adventurous. And at the same time, I was like, who's hanging out in Laos? Who's hanging out in this country I never heard of?
And how
Um,
did the supply? I mean, they have maror and you need all kinds of things.
so you're asking very
I
good questions.
only ask good questions here. Someone's
So
asking, where is Laos? We never heard of it either. So where is it? Is it like
Laos is
off
a
the coast
country
of
in the Far
Florida?
East. It's in Asia. It's a country that borders Vietnam, Thailand, China. on the top. Um, it's a really cool country. It's a communist country, in fact. And the country isn't really so excited about spreading Judaism in general, and for Chabad boys to come to its country and to start making a Pesach Seder. So
So
just
how do
the
you get in?
fact,
Do you need a visa? Do you need some sort of official permission? Are you there under any auspices? Like, how does that work?
so very good. That's an amazing question. So
I
we
ask him
coming
these
to the
things.
country, we would need a tourist visa. Um, we get a tourist visa, and when we come, we join a local Chabad center, which actually opened up as we came last year
So there
for the
is a
Seder,
full-time Chabad center in
full-time
Laos.
Chabad, which is it's a very successful Chabad house, has hundreds of travelers coming through weekly, and there's a few local Jewish people that live in Laos, but you're asking a good question. How do we have the basic needs for our Pesach Seder? So let's take Mar for an example. As you asked about the Mar, there's no horseradish in the country of Laos. Not only is there no horseradish in Laos, there's no horseradish in Thailand, in any of the countries nearby, which they would be able to import fruits, vegetables, or food from. So we had to find a creative way to be able to bring horseradish with us to Laos. So if you're traveling on a plane, I believe it's permitted to take your personal food with you on the plane. So if as your personal food item, you could bring a few pieces of myrrh, which that's basically how we had our myrrh for a Seder. Now, matzah is shipped all the way from the United States. Wine is shipped from Israel, and they pay very high taxes and they pay fees for it. But what won't we do to make sure every Jewish person has matzah and wine for Passover?
So give
So,
us a little bit of the logistics. You arrived there. Pesach this year started Saturday night. Did you arrive 2 days before, 2 months before? Like, just walk us
so
through this a little bit.
we'll go through it. I'll start with last year as it's my second year, so it was easier this year to prepare for it. I'll tell you the first time I've been there, and I actually had to be hands-on and make sure everything worked without me having any experience in doing this specific type of Seder before. I've ran other Seders, but in America, in countries which are closer to Israel or the United States, which was much easier to organize a Seder, but having a Seder all the way in Laos gets pretty hard to arrange when it's your first time going there. So
Can't
the
even
first time
imagine.
I went, we had to come and we had to do everything from scratch. Kosher food, there's no kosher products in Laos. Everything you have to make in your kitchen. Um,
Where do you
you're
even get the
getting
raw? Where do you get chicken? Where do you get kosher?
we'll start with chicken.
Okay.
Chicken, you have to bring someone down before Passover that knows how to slaughter animals in a kosher way,
Oh my God.
and he has to either come from United States or Israel, and he'll do a run of kosher chicken that will last you a whole year. So they
Oh my
slaughter enough chickens that will last you throughout for the whole coming year, and they'll freeze it. They have a few freezers. Now this is what they do. Then last year, before the Passover Seder, we were just new to it. There wasn't a Chabad presence there. So what we had to do was we had to bring it from the neighboring country, which is Thailand, which there Chabad established itself in 1994, I believe, or 93. And they're pretty established there, and they helped with organizing and making sure we had meat brought from Thailand to Laos, which is about an hour and a half flight.
So just let that sink in. So now Thailand is supplying kosher food. They
Correct.
probably had to import it once upon a time, and now they're supplying. Thailand is like Yerushalayim relative to Laos and these other places.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us what happens next.
That's in regards to the meat. Then we hired a whole team. of locals.
Now hold on. When you
To
say we hard, but you went like to Laos locals for
so
Pesach.com or
so there
something?
used to be Chabad presence there about before COVID. When COVID came around, everything was shut down, and the Chabad shliach, the Chabad rabbi, left with his family. He opened up a Chabad center in Phuket, Thailand. That while he was there, he got to know. He had some workers. One of his workers, the new Chabad rabbi that was coming down, got in touch with him, asked him if he could hire a few locals to help us run the kitchen, help us cook up a Pesach Seder for 150 or 135 people, including us. And he got a team of 10 local Laos, uh, however you would call it, people.
So these
And
these Laos
it,
people, they speak English? I mean, how do you communicate with
good question. You have to communicate with your hands.
them?
That one worker spoke English
Okay.
and he spoke a half English. So you have to like say, quick, quick, this half a bucket, full bucket. Very entertaining. A lot of fun trying to communicate with these people, but they did a fantastic, amazing job. And we had a lot of fun working in the kitchen with them. And the Seder worked out very well. If we have some time, I could tell you a story or two of the Seder last year and this year.
Yeah, we
And
got time. Lay it on us, my brother.
so we'll start with last year. Last year, we had a fellow that came into the Seder and he told us he comes from Israel. And he said the last time he's had a Seder is about 10 years ago. And he was hesitating before he came to the Seder. What pushed him to come to the Seder was that he just got released from the IDF. He was fighting in Gaza, and he felt like he needed a warmth of feeling at home. He said he was debating for a few days before Pesach whether to come or not. He decided that he's going to pull forward, he's going to come, he's going to make sure to come to the Pesach Seder. He said he'll stop into the Seder for 5-10 minutes, see if he's connecting to the vibe or connecting to the people, connecting with the idea. If he appreciates it, he'll stay. Otherwise, he'll go home and continue his day. He'll go to his hostel. Comes to the Seder, and instantly this is him telling us afterwards, he felt at home. He stayed the whole Seder. The Seder was very lively. Just imagine 150 people jumping on the chair, singing this Passover songs the way they knew it in their house. You had 75-year-old men and women on the chairs jumping as if they're 15, and you had the 20. It was just an amazing energy, an amazing Seder.
Give us a little sense. Who are these people? They live in Laos. They happen to be tourists. They're Israelis. There's somebody
So
stumbled. Who are these people?
we had both. We had a lot. We had about 10 locals, people that when I say local, they let's just say today are 60 years old. When they were 20 years old, they were traveling and fell in love with Laos and decided that's where they're staying. So 40 years later, they're still in Laos. They have either a small business or something. Laos is their new home. So we had about 10 to 15 of those type of people. And then I would say the rest was tourists from all over the world. We had mainly from Israel, we had from Australia, we had a few from the UK, we had some from the United States, and it was fantastic.
So you conduct the Seder in Hebrew and English, a combination.
So that's a very good question. I was going to say another story about how we maneuver through so many languages and so many people and how we make that work. The answer to that is the Seder is based in Hebrew, but everyone has to feel at home and everyone has to be part of it. So obviously, we try to translate as much as possible, but we dedicate a part of the Seder that's going to be just English, a part of the Seder that's going to be Hebrew, a part of the Seder that's going to be in whatever language. If there's someone that speaks just French, we try to encourage them to get up and say a part of the Agada in French or whatever other language we had by our Seder.
And these
This year,
people are they stayed through the whole night till the Afikoman and everything?
yeah,
Wow.
literally. It's very different than a Seder than we're used to at home. At home, we're used to the regular traditional, we sing the songs, we sit around the table. When you have 150 people packed in a room, and it's a small room and everyone's together, it literally creates a vibe of family that you've never seen before. You're having people from all walks of life coming together in one room and united. Doesn't matter if I speak Hebrew, English, somehow everyone feels like they're making their Seder and the Seder is made just for them. It's beautiful. I can't even describe how how amazing and how good the vibe is. That's
And
how we have 70-year-olds and 20-year-olds together jumping and singing the Seder songs on the cheers. It's just amazing.
and this is conducted in you said there is a Chabad there. So this they have a building, they rent a hotel. Like how do
So
you do the
legally, there's not allowed
logistics?
to be any Jewish outreach in the country.
Mm, okay.
So Chabad's presence there is a restaurant,
Okay.
and a restaurant is allowed to be done, and the Pesach Seder is done in the restaurant.
Ah, interesting. So they don't have a shul the way we think of it in here.
Yeah, it's not a type of Chabad house that you would have in the United States.
Okay. Wow. So the rabbi and his wife there throughout the year, they're just sort of literally operating this restaurant, or that's just the cover story and they're really running Hebrew schools and C-teens and
So there's no C
JLI.
team because there's not many young teens living there. It's usually an older crowd. Um, there's no Hebrew school because there's no children. It's more of a backpacker, and there's some classes for the older community there. More
It's
of a
amazing.
backpacker style Chabad house.
So Pesach started Motzei Shabbos. When did you arrive?
This year we arrived Friday afternoon,
Oh my gosh.
which is
Right, Mamish
crazy.
before. That is
Which
crazy.
is crazy.
Wow. When did you burn the chametz on the plane?
We burnt the chametz in Thailand.
Wow.
We had
Okay.
a stopover in Thailand for a few hours, jumped out of the plane, took a taxi. We took a taxi to the Chabad house, burnt the chametz, got back into the taxi, went to the airport,
That's
and
crazy.
we landed in Laos 12:30
And
Erev
then
Shabbat,
you
right before
stayed for the
Shabbos.
whole Pesach or you went home Cholamoid? How did that work?
So on Chol Hamoed, we went actually to, since there was Shabbos, Shabbos was the second day. So we
Shabbos
went,
was Erev Pesach, yeah.
right. So we went to another country for the second days of Pesach.
Oh, where was
Uh,
that?
we went to the Philippines.
Oh boy. And is there a Chabad in the Philippines?
There are a few centers in the Philippines,
Oh my.
and they also have, it's a little bigger than in Laos. They had about 900 people by their
Oh
Seder.
my goodness.
And for the second days of Pesach, they had about, if I could say, 400 people coming to their meals.
Wow. So let me back up again to the system. How old, you said they send out the boy, these yeshiva students. How old is there an age requirement? You have to be 15, 17, 20. I mean, how does this work? This was not when I was in yeshiva, they didn't have this. So how did
Right.
this work?
So you have to be past yeshiva, which means before you come to yeshiva in New York, which is about the age of 18.
Okay.
Um, the younger students, they'll try to keep it within the United States. The older you get, they send you further and further. Um,
So give us
and
a rough, like how many seders are there that they're sending guys to, like they sent you to
they're
Laos?
sending out, there's seders all over. They're sending out about 500 students,
Wow. So that's pairs, 500, so 250 pairs.
250 pairs of students.
So where are some guys, give us like where some of your friends may have gone besides Laos? Is that the most exotic place? Is there a guy went, I don't know, to Mars or
Laos
something?
is pretty exotic. For example, my brother went this year to a place called Suriname.
Never even heard of that. Where is that?
It's in South America, Central America, I think
Okay.
South America.
All right. And where else do guys go?
I had a brother in Thailand this year.
Nice.
I had
Okay.
a brother this year in a country called Rwanda
Oh my.
in
Okay,
Africa.
sure. Okay. Wow, that's
Pretty
crazy.
exotic countries to
And
get
you
to.
just sign up and you say, I want to go, and they put your name in a hat, they pull it out and they say, okay, you're going to Laos. I mean, if you're not going to Laos, you're going to New Jersey. It could be anywhere.
Anywhere.
Oh
And
my.
we're ready to go wherever is needed,
That
obviously.
is crazy and exciting. Who is the partner that you went with?
His name is Mendel Shapiro.
Mendel Shapiro
He's
sounds Jewish.
another Crown Heights another yeshiva boy I grew up with, and
Before
we
you
made a
went to
great
Laos,
Seder.
had you ever been to some place as exotic as that, or Connecticut was
As
as far as you went?
Laos, I've been to pretty exotic countries like Cuba.
Also in for a Seder or for some other
Also,
program?
yeah, before Pesach to make sure every Jew there gets to have some matzah and some wine for their Seder. We
Amazing.
traveled
Okay.
the whole country. The country's about a 15-hour drive across. We drove from city to city, town to town. Every Jew that we knew of or that we heard of, we stopped by their town, their house. We left them a box of matzah, some wine for their Seder, some food, because food in Cuba is not really a big thing. They don't eat like us in the United States. So we brought them some goodies and some candies for the kids, some
Remarkable.
oil, some flour,
Wow. Join Lubavitch, see the world. Amazing. Amazing.
100%.
You got any pictures you can show us?
I do have some pictures. Let's see
And
if I
then
can
if
get it
anybody
up.
wants to unmute and jump in with a quick question, we do want to be respectful of Moshe's time. But if someone's got a quick question while he's looking for some pictures, unmute and jump in. What office are you sitting in now? Is that your home office
I'm
or?
sitting in the office of Merkaz in
Oh,
770, Chabad
nice.
Central.
Oh boy. Wow. All right. Taking us
How
live
old are
into.
you? Moish, how old are you?
I am currently 25.
All right.
I'm joining from my phone, Rabbi Epstein.
Okay. So how do I? Okay, Moshe's phone. So I got to make you a co-host. Add spotlight. There you are. Now how do I make you? Make co-host. Yes. I'm going to remove the spotlight here. Okay. So now you're there. So can you get the pictures up so we can see them? We're not hearing you. Are you on mute?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to share.
All right. Anyone else got another question while we're on here?
Rabbi Epstein, how did you pick this young man?
Well,
Does
the,
he
the
have,
backstory is
does he have
that,
any connection to Chicago or what's the
well,
deal?
he did go, he is a former student of Mr. Pine at the Masifta.
Oh, okay.
And he was actually recommended by Zelig Nutik, who we tried to have on a couple of weeks ago, but we had some internet issues and he wasn't available. So I said, well, give me some friends who've been to some pretty kooky places. And his sister, I think, is friends with Sterny. Is Miriam Elberg your sister?
Yes,
And she's married to a boy from here, right?
correct.
And
Buffalo Grove.
we have hunted you down. We're like stalkers. She's friend with my daughter. Okay, come on. Let's get some pictures here.
Moish, do you remember a guy by the name of Mr. Pine?
Sure.
Mr.
Well,
Is he
That's
on
not
here?
that's not even a question. Yeah, of course, Mr. Pine is on here. He wants
Can
to
we
see
see
your
him?
handshaking technique.
I'm trying to get my face back up. I'm having a difficult time.
Mr. Pine is good at teaching handshaking and interpersonal interactions. Not so good, maybe with the Zoom. Okay, let's see. Okay, so where is
So
this? Show us what you got.
right here, this is the Chabad building in Laos.
I can't see this.
This is right when we landed from our 3-day journey.
And that's your partner, Mendel Shapiro.
That's my partner, Mendel Shapiro.
We sort of lost it here. Is it still there? Give us another picture.
Let's go for it. I'm gonna
Now we're back to your
share
live
photos.
program.
Give me a second.
See, these yeshiva boys only know how to make seders in Laos. They don't know how to get the share screen going.
Add. So here we have I stopped in Thailand on my way back to the United
We're not
States.
seeing you. We're just getting a blank screen here.
You don't see the picture?
I
We do
see
not.
it.
Oh, you
I
do?
see it on my
Okay.
second screen.
I see the picture.
I'm the
Yeah,
only
both
one.
pictures
Must
are
be me.
beautiful.
Okay.
I see it
can see
also.
I
This is
can see it.
awesome.
Good. I don't see it, but I'll see it later. Okay.
So
Tell
here we
us.
have two fellows that were by our Seder. One of them, the one on the left, is an Australian boy. The one in the middle is an Israeli boy, actually coming right out of the IDF. And he came to our Seder, which was amazing. They became friends and they met in Thailand. And on my way back to the United States, I met them and we went out to the Chabad restaurant in Thailand, which was beautiful. Here we have, do you see the next picture? No. Oh, there we go. Here we have a local police officer in Laos. This is the Chabad rabbi with us that is now serving as the current rabbi in Laos, the permanent Chabad rabbi.
What's his name?
His name is Rabbi Moshe Belanov. Here we have some local army men patrolling. Here's a fellow that joined us for our Seder. He's been hanging out in Laos for some time. This is on the water in Laos. There's a river that goes through the town. Another picture. This is before Passover on Friday afternoon, right when we landed. We got straight to work, started checking the lettuce to make sure there's no bugs, to make sure it's kosher for the Pesach Seder. This is right when we got there. Welcome to Long Prabang, the town where we made the Seder. That's it.
That's it. Beautiful. Okay. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us, and Yasher Koach to you for going to Laos for the Seder instead of just staying home for your home cooking. And this is really amazing. You Chabad guys are the coolest. Go to Laos. Crazy. Okay, beautiful.
We are the coolest.
Are you currently in Chicago?
No, he said
No,
he's
I'm
in New York. You
Oh,
got to
you're in
pay
New
attention.
York.
He's in New
Okay.
York. All right, Moshe, thank you. 1,000 thank yous. We really appreciate it. Okay, everybody. Tomorrow night we'll learn some Pirkei Avos. Yasher Koach, Moshe, thank you so much. This was great.
It was
No
terrific. Terrific.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me.
Thank you.
Have a good night,
Beautiful.
all.
Yasher Koach. Beautiful.